Kiss My Chaos, taking stories of trauma into triumph while living life in the middle and everything in between. All views are expressed solely of the host, guests, and for entertainment purposes only. You don't like it? Well, you can kiss our chaos. Here are your hosts, Abigail Dark and D.T. Hudson.
Welcome back to the Kiss My Chaos podcast. That's my radio voice. You guys love that?
That is good.
Thanks.
Nice.
You know, everything we do here is like a conversation. Really not much structure, but we're definitely excited today because we're going to hear a story. We're going to hear a story of resilience. We're going to hear a story of victory. And we're going to hear a story of something that's probably going to help even just one person. Am I wrong?
No, absolutely not. A friend of mine, Candace, had referred me to Ashley Erdmann. And when I read her story, I couldn't even, my heart just fluttered. I'm like, you couldn't even imagine the strength that this woman has. And I knew immediately we had to talk to her. I needed to talk to her because, you know, I've always prided myself on being a strong person, but you know, everybody has different challenges in life, and how we get through them is, you know, what we do on this podcast. And I thought, with such a great cause, with what Candace supports and with what Ashley supports, Pray for Gray, you know, my company, we love to support them every single year. And it's extremely important to me because these are not just faces. These are people. They are people with families, and they are people going through it and people who have been through it. And I don't think you ever stop going through it. But before we get into the crazy conversations and the hard conversations, Ashley, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Where do I start? I am a single mom of two. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. My 12-year-old is the little girl with the brain cancer. And I want to start with saying that I just got news that she is completely done with chemo now. So,
that's so awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Last week.
That is so awesome.
How relieved are you, Mom?
I'm actually more scared than relieved.
Okay.
It's been 5 years of being on this treatment. So the comfort of stopping it, knowing that like that is what's keeping it away, is kind of terrifying. However, I'm very excited to see what her next journey is going to be and where it takes us. So
absolutely.
Young people are so resilient.
Oh my gosh, they are
Unbelievably resilient.
So crazy.
What a great way to start this.
Yes.
Oh man. I saw her at the last Pray for Gray, and like, you would not believe the life that she has. She just bounces. She lights up the room. She is so chatty, and like she has this aura about her.
Yes.
It's amazing to watch
So
her.
believe it or not, like that has not been her. That changed probably about 12 months ago.
Okay.
She used to be super shy. If you would come up to her, she'd hide behind my leg instantly. Wanted nothing to do with anybody unless it was a doctor or a nurse. She's always been super open with all of her medical team. But any other person outside of the medical field, she was like, no, I want nothing to do with you. Get away from me. But then a year ago, I don't know what changed or why it changed, but she opened up and now she loves everybody.
That's courage.
It's
courage.
pretty amazing.
So how long has she been with the doctors and nurses? Like, when did this begin?
She was originally diagnosed in 2018. Okay. So we started our treatment in Fargo. She actually taking it back to 2017 because that's when her journey started with me. It was December of 2017. We were at Courts Plus, and we were going down, like we were in that playground portion.
Oh, yep.
We were going down a slide. It's a spiral slide. She was on my lap, and by the time we got to the bottom of the slide, she, like, her eyes were rolling back in the back of her head. She couldn't talk. She couldn't walk. She was 4 years old. So she normally has all these abilities. But she couldn't talk. She couldn't walk. She started just projectile vomiting. So I immediately brought her to the ER.
Right.
And they're like, oh, she probably has a concussion. I was like, no, she was on my lap. I would have seen if she hit her head. She didn't hit her head. So they did a CAT scan. They're like, oh, it's clean. Like, go home. Nothing. So over the next 3 months, because she wasn't diagnosed until March 13th of 2018, I had her in the doctor, the ER, her regular pediatrician, the walk-in, urgent care, every single place that I could think of, at least 2 to 3 times a week from December until March, trying to get her diagnosed with something. They sent me to the eye doctor. They sent me to chiropractors. They had me convinced that she was experiencing migraines, because those do run in my family, so it wasn't out of the question, but it just didn't quite explain everything. So she would wake up, she'd have a headache every day, she'd puke one time in the morning, which I later found out was just spinal fluid because of the block.
Oh.
Your body is continuously making spinal fluid, so if it can't circulate like it's supposed to, it just builds up, and then she has to expel it somehow. Mm-hmm. So that's why she was only puking once a day. But she never had a fever, nothing like that. So I was like, this migraines just does not explain what's going on with my kid. And then towards the end, right before she was diagnosed, she was sleeping 20 hours of a 24-hour period. It was
That's not normal for a child.
Not normal at all. Every symptom she had was textbook brain tumor. If you were to look up or search or Google brain tumor, the symptoms you're going to be faced with first is everything she was experiencing.
So how did they miss that?
I don't know. So I was in Ireland when she was diagnosed. She was with my mom because, again, I was convinced that it was migraines. So I was like, okay, I can still go on vacation. I had this vacation planned with my friend for 4 months. My mom is amazing. She's always taken my kids once a year for me to go on vacation. So I was in Ireland, and my mom called me, and she's like, Ashley, she's sleeping 23 hours a day. This isn't okay. What do I do? And I was like, we'll take her to the ER and don't leave until they do an MRI. We've done everything else. So we have to do an MRI. She lives in Park Rapids, Minnesota. So she drove all the way back to Fargo, took her to Essentia. They refused an MRI, but said that they could send her to Duluth in about 4 weeks. I was like, absolutely not. That is not acceptable.
Yeah.
So my mom went and sat in the ER parking lot, and she's like, Ashley, I don't know what to do. I don't know how much I can advocate. This isn't my child. You're not here. And I was like, well, just don't leave. Let me get on the phone. Let me figure out what I can do from here. And we'll just kind of go from there. Well, she did end up going home. And then she got a phone call from the doctor. And the doctor's like, I really hope you don't mind, but my husband is also a doctor. I spoke to him, and he doesn't feel comfortable letting your child wait. We think you should get an MRI as soon as possible. So she went back to Fargo. They sent her to Sanford because they weren't able to do it. Essentia wasn't able to do it in Fargo. Sure. Why, I'm not sure. I don't know if they don't have the equipment or what it was.
Interesting.
But they sent her to Sanford, and they did it that night. So the Dr. Yang, her amazing neurosurgeon, asked me, why did she have this CAT scan done in December? And I told her, and she's like, well, here's the tumor. The tumor is right here on the CAT scan.
Wow.
Yes. Which took her possibly, we don't know this for sure, but because there was a few months in between, she could have been just standard risk at that point. But in March, when she actually was diagnosed, she was high risk because it had spread to the spine. Mm-hmm. So she had 2 tumors in her spine, a huge tumor on the back of her head, about this big on the brainstem. And at that point, it's high risk, and you've got a 40% chance of survival.
And you're in Ireland.
And I was in Ireland. It took me a day and a half to get home.
I'm sure.
Because there's very few flights that go from Dublin to Minneapolis, about 2 a day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. And about $2,500.
I'm sure. But,
I can't even imagine what you were feeling. It's like every parent's worst.
I honestly don't even remember what I was feeling. I know that I didn't really talk much.
In shock?
Yeah, basically. I was on the phone immediately to find my way home. My poor friend who was with me was basically blindsided because I was just screaming, my daughter has cancer, like no other. And I didn't even know for sure if it was cancer, but I was pretty sure.
I don't care like what they. I mean, if somebody says that your child has a tumor in their brain, like you're not going to react,
Yes,
calmly.
You're being a mother. You're
Right.
being a mother, and you get home to your children.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, it was devastating. And I had just recently started dating somebody at the time. So my mom, being just like me, we wear our hearts on our sleeves. Like she couldn't stomach telling me. So this man that I had just started dating, like met my mom at the ER and like stayed with her the entire time, and told me the news over the phone. That's what made our relationship. I later married him.
that to me is, for somebody to be able to stick around like that is pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
Like weeks after being introduced to my children.
Really?
Yeah. That's how quick it was. I mean, like we had been together for a while.
Sure.
But like it was just a couple weeks after he was introduced to my kids.
Well, they say trauma bonds people. And the fact that he
Yep.
was willing to keep that bond even through like a hardship like that, you just know that marriage would, stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a nexus. There's just this thing, and I don't think any doctor, no MRI could describe it, a nexus where I've described before where I can sit in the lobby of the VA and just see it in people. And yeah, there's a trust thing, especially with kids.
Yep.
There's a trust thing. I mean, that's huge. That's your life. And here you are in Ireland. I'm surprised you realized even to this day how much the ticket costs because, you're on your way home. I don't care if I have to swim. I'm coming home to my baby. And how much did you have to educate yourself through this whole process? Because I can't imagine. I was going to say, I can't imagine.
So every cancer is so different on, like I have a terrible memory. I never used to, but post-diagnosis, the only thing I can remember are her blood counts, her ANC, like when to take her chemo, like all of those things. I'm on the spot, got it, don't struggle whatsoever. Everything else in my life is taking a complete back burner. My memory is just horseshit.
Well, that's trauma,
Yes,
is what it is.
absolutely.
That's textbook trauma.
But there was a lot of education, and there's still a lot of education. Like now we're starting her growth hormone journey, which is insane to me. We just found out that she's actually going to be on growth hormones for the rest of her life, which I thought that you only take it to grow and then you're probably done. So as soon as she hits puberty, I assumed we would be done. But actually, like adults create growth hormones too. So if she were to stop taking it after she's done growing, she would just feel like she's got like the onset of the flu all the time. No energy, just
It's
down,
not a quality of
yucky.
life.
Exactly.
Right.
So she'll have to be on it for the rest of her life. But this has been like a year now that we've been trying to get it, and it's a very, very difficult drug to get insurance to pay for.
I believe that.
That's a whole nother battle, isn't it?
Yeah, well, without insurance, it's about $5,000 to $10,000 a month.
Unbelievable.
So
That is just not acceptable.
yeah, they fight hard to deny it.
Did they compare it to like an optional like HRT?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. They say that it's not medically necessary, that it's more cosmetic, even though you've got a chapter book full of documentation from the oncologist, the radiologist, the endocrinologist, like every specialist out there that she's got on her team saying that this is 100% medically necessary because her body is creating nothing. Her radiation was to the pituitary gland, not once but twice. And her first round of treatment, it was 31 doses, which was full brain. And then her second round of treatment was 15 doses, which was basically just to the pituitary gland because that's where her secondary tumor was.
Okay.
This just pisses me off. I'm sorry. This is so broken.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is it. I get so damn mad at this because it comes down to $1.
Yep.
And we have lives and quality of life. And it comes down to this BS of the dollar and what we're not going to trust neurosurgeons now in their opinion, who this is what they do. Mm-hmm. We're just going to sit here and have some ambiguity of, oh, it's not really cosmetic. Tell me how. Tell me. There's a billion more arguments how it is not that. And that now I'm mad. I'm going to be over here mad.
I'm
sorry, I'm mad for you.
There's so many different researches, out there too about, we did a thing with the HRT and the hormone therapy with somebody else. But when you're looking at it, whether it's the old news about how, you can get estrogen-based cancers and like other things, did the doctors go over a lot of that with you as far as like how that affects her or how that would manipulate it? Or at this point, is it, you also read that, when you go into menopause type of symptoms, you're more susceptible to different risks. So I would imagine that makes it difficult for you.
Gone over any of that yet. Right now, the biggest concern is there is no studies to disprove or prove that growth hormones will or will not make cancer cells accelerate faster, spread faster. We're talking about kids, so nobody's going to purposely give a child a drug just for the sake of a study, right?
Right.
So there's two different types of growth hormones. There's a weekly injection and a daily injection. There has been more proof. I can't say that, not proof. There's been more instances of children relapsing on weekly ones. We don't know why. So our endocrinologist is like, we will only accept daily. That is it.
Sure.
We are not comfortable with weekly. There's a lot of other kids who are on weekly, not for cancer-related issues, just for standard pituitary gland stuff. And it's safe for them. But for cancer kids, we do the daily ones. But even that is scary because with brain cancer, there's so many crevices in your brain, and the tumor has to grow big enough to be seen on the MRI.
Right.
The MRI can catch it pretty quickly, but by the time it does, it is still like thousands and thousands of cells stuck together. You know what I mean?
And help me with this. That's a lot of times that's a fairly aggressive growing type situation.
Yes. So when she was originally diagnosed, it was medulloblastoma high risk because of the spread to the spine. She had those two tumors, which proves to us that it was at one point in her spinal fluid. It was circulating around her entire brain and her entire spine. Where it settled, clearly it settled here after. So the first original was on the brainstem, and then I don't remember what lobes these are, but whichever one is like right up here was where her second one was. And then gravity fell to the very base of her spine for that first original one. So it was in the spinal fluid. It did spread. But my concern is where else did it settle? Right. That this current chemo has kept it at bay. It hasn't continued to grow. But are there still cells in there? Very likely. When she was diagnosed with the relapse, she has a less than 5% chance of survival. And in terms of cancer, that means 5 years. There is no remission for brain cancer. She has a common childhood cancer, but it's still rare because all brain cancer is rare compared to others. So she relapsed, in 2020. So we are sitting at 5 years with less than 5% chance. So we're already a miracle, right?
100% a miracle, I was just going to say.
She's doing amazing. No evidence of disease as of right now. Let's knock on some wood together.
Yeah. Wood behind me.
So I love where we're at. It's
so positive and uplifting for people to hear that.
Yes. In such a scary thing, you have to share all the wins. Because oftentimes people only share the bad. And then there's parents like me who, when your child gets diagnosed, what's the first thing you do? You go online. You start researching it. You start looking at other kids. You do the compare game. And you're faced with a lot of fucking death. A lot of death. Just sitting inside the hospital, you're faced with a lot of death. Us going to St. Jude's, we're in E-Clinic, which is nothing but brain tumors. There's hundreds of kids who have her cancer and other brain cancers, and one day you're there and you see 3 people who you see all the time, and then the next time you're there, you find out they're dead. That is fucking hard.
I believe it. When she got old enough to see that and to understand it, how did you parent that?
She doesn't understand it yet.
She doesn't understand it yet. Okay.
Chronologically, she's 12. Neurologically, she's probably about 5 or 6.
Okay.
So she knows that she has cancer. She knows that it makes her sick, but she doesn't understand that it could and, quite frankly, probably will kill her at some point.
Sure.
Her brother is starting to understand it. Doesn't talk about it because he also, so she was 4 and he would have been 2.5 because there's about 18 months between them.
Sure.
So his entire life basically has been around Ava and her cancer and the journey that has been from point A to point B. So he's very compassionate. He has a huge heart. It's amazing to see. Like every time I go to school conferences, his teachers are like, this kid is amazing. I don't know how you've raised him to be like this, but I wish other parents would do this. And it's like, I didn't. The cancer did it to him. Like,
But isn't he's a champion, right?
he is.
Yeah.
He
I think
absolutely
he gets
is.
that from his mom.
Yeah, probably.
So tell us a little bit about him. What does he do?
Elijah is a American Ninja Warrior. He
That's pretty
does
cool.
it competitively. He's been to Worlds twice. He hasn't placed at Worlds, but he's in my eyes, he's done absolutely amazing.
Just getting to go there and
know,
to
just-
do what he does. That's crazy.
That's
I wouldn't even make it past the little starting point. I'd fall right off the little slanted board.
it's hard.
I can't
He
imagine.
really wants me to do it, and I've tried a couple times, and I'm in like a fitness journey right now, but I was like, buddy, that's just not my style of fitness. I just can't do it. I like my hands, and his hands look rough.
yeah.
I'm sure they do.
But no, he's my little ADHD child. He's crazy, he's wild, but at the same time, like, he's loving, he's compassionate, he's empathetic for like everybody, maybe sometimes a little too much. His empathy can ruin his mood. And being a child, it's hard to like regulate that and kind of see it. But I think it's going to help him later in life. I always tell everybody that he is going to be the world's best dad and an even better husband.
Oh, absolutely.
What
Yes.
more do you want as a mom? I mean, really?
Yeah,
exactly.
Isn't that the
Truly.
goal?
Yep.
I lucked out. I got that too. So
Yes.
you heard me, Jack. I gave you a compliment. Christmas is coming.
Gotta love that. I have a question. So when she has had all that done, did she have any like genetic testing done after finding this out? Are there any specific genetics that they link to any of that?
Not as of now.
I have read, I was recently diagnosed with Lynch syndrome, which has a higher risk of many cancers, different types. And so our biggest fear was CMMRD, which is a genetic abnormality where if both parents carry the Lynch gene, the child has a higher risk of brain tumors and cancer and dying by the time they're age 16. So that was our biggest scare with Sander. Luckily, my husband tested negative. So we don't have to worry about that, more or less like just my son inheriting the Lynch portion. So to me, I was thinking maybe that would be, an interesting, I know Sanford does it, like free testing on that as far as that goes, but, something, with your son or anything else, if the parent carries it and gives it down to the kids, something to think about.
So that was my biggest fear is my son going to get this?
Right.
And they said it would be highly, highly unlikely.
Right.
It is not something that's passed down or anything. However, in my sleuthing the internet of other families and the medulloblastoma family Facebook pages and Instagram pages that I'm a part of, there is a family out there in, I think they're in the UK. Both their son and daughter had this cancer.
But extremely unlikely.
Extremely unlikely.
Right.
Yes, it was just one of those freak accident type things. But something that St. Jude's is doing is they're doing regional studies on is this coming from specific regions on, was in the past, was there a power plant that exploded or, stuff like that. I haven't seen any data from it, but I had to answer probably 300 questions when she was first diagnosed about where we've lived, where we've traveled, how long we were there, what we were doing, what she's been exposed to, like all of those different things, because they don't know why this cancer is children only. I think the oldest person that's been diagnosed from the beginning with this cancer is like 25.
Sure.
Everybody else is typically like 16 and under.
My cousin Zach died from this when he was 16, and it developed very rapidly. He wasn't alive very long after it had happened. Same situation, you know, he had seizures and then he began throwing up, and it just kind of went from there. So, and the reason I ask is because his mom actually has Lynch syndrome.
Okay.
And so her other son, Trevor, just got done with bladder cancer, and he's in his early 30s type of thing. So the correlation between the two, you know, so I was kind of just curious, you know, if they had done anything along that line. But yeah, the chances of your son of having is very, very slim. Not trying to scare. I mean, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I don't know shit. I just, you know, I go down the research train with my stuff. Like you said, the Facebook groups. I was on the Mayo website for hours just reading all the stuff, the Lynch networks, and like reading through everything. And of course, you know, everything is always doom and gloom. Yep. So you try to stay positive, but at the same time, you're going down that like gross road of, the what ifs.
I think we all have a important lesson to learn, and everybody listening has an important lesson to learn. You look at your daughter. I think of my sister, love you, Tammy, going through her stem cell treatment right now, surviving stage 4. And when I listen to them and their positivity, it's hard to not draw some of that positivity. And the person actually going through it ends up being this anchor. It doesn't matter what age. And I feel I know my sister better now than I did even growing up. She's considerably younger than me. But what a flippin' warrior. Unbelievable. I thought I was the warrior of the family, the cop, the military guy. This girl runs circles around me. She is a warrior. And I am not like that. I don't think I'd be able to do it. But she's like, you know what? She's got her faith. She's got her family. And she was taking her chemo and she's going out on hikes. Because she was like, that's what made me happy. I'm like, why can't we see it? And I think as a family, you almost have to draw from that. It's like, hey, this person's really going through it, and that's the attitude they have. And I think it helps. I don't know if I'd be able to do it, honestly. I really do not.
I think the mind and brain and body connection, there's something to be said about that. I mean, a lot of people may not think there's a connection, but to me, 100% there's a connection. I think if you're always in a negative state, doom and gloom, you can make yourself sicker, and you can make yourself better by saying, I'm not that. I'm going to be this. Like, I'm going to get better.
I 100% agree. And that's why through this entire journey, I've always told people, I think kids have an upper hand, an advantage over adults going through cancer, because they don't know the nitty gritty behind how easily it can kill you, especially these little ones like Ava at 4. So they're always positive. They just think they're sick. To them, it's no different than having the flu. Mm-hmm. It's all the same. It just becomes normal, and they learn to live with it. And I mean, kids want to be happy, right? They hate being sad and disappointed and stuff. So they're always happy. Even if they're sick, they're happy. They're puking, and then they're playing. Like it's like that. It's amazing. So I fully believe that your brain can change reality, manifestation.
Yeah, absolutely. So like through this journey, who was your support?
My daughter.
Oh,
yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So my daughter and my mom, being a single mom, so the kid's his dad, he's in prison. He has had nothing to do with them. I left him. It was a domestic violence situation.
Sure.
I left him when I was 5 weeks pregnant with my son. He's never met my son. He's had the opportunity to, but just chose not to. Has been in and out of prison a couple times. Currently back in for the better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So like they didn't have another parent, and I didn't have another parent to consult or anything. Like my boyfriend at the time, I didn't want to put him too far into that or like make him make decisions on like, hey, we've got option A and B. Either could kill her. Like, what do we do? Like, I wasn't going to make him do that. So it was just myself. On the bright side, I'm a very independent person. I oftentimes struggle even asking for help. So I didn't want help. So Ava was my rock. I have this anchor tattoo on my arm that says Ava. So like you mentioned anchor, this also has her cancer ribbon. She was my anchor. She was an anchor for my entire family. My mom, my aunt, my cousin, like several of us got this exact tattoo. Because when you are watching her go through this entire thing, like her waking up from her 16-and-a-half-hour surgery that was supposed to be like 4 hours, and all of us sitting in the waiting room, there was probably like 15, 20 of us. We're all freaking out, not really sure what's going on, just literally freaking out. And then she wakes up from anesthesia and she smiles at you. Like how can you not draw like positivity from that smile?
That's love.
She couldn't even move the right side of her body, but when she woke up, she was great.
That's love.
Yep. Yes, it is.
One day at a time.
Exactly.
And she knew it.
Yep.
And her strength, I think, just deep down innately just knows, like, I need this for mom.
Yeah.
So, of course, this is something that completely consumes your life, but to most people it would, but not for you.
It did consume my life for, I would say, the first 4 years.
Sure.
I became nothing but a self-proclaimed momcologist.
Sure.
Fair enough.
I love that.
Fair enough.
Isn't that cute? I found it online.
We're going to coin that.
It wasn't
Hashtag
my idea,
momcologist.
but momcologist. I wasn't, it was a struggle. I wasn't even really being a regular mom to Elijah. I was relying on a lot of other people to take care of him, and I was doing nothing but cancer stuff 24/7, because if she wasn't in the hospital, she was at therapies. If she wasn't at therapies, we were going to the walk-in because she's got a fever. Like there was no time for rest, period.
Sure.
But then some life things changed. I lost my husband. He passed away from suicide. And I went through like 6 months of this self-pity. Like, is it me?
I mean, I don't, don't feel, obviously just hearing this. I'm like, I'm trying not to like lose it as I'm hearing your story. Like, it's amazing. I can't even believe like how strong you are for that.
So after that, I kind of like, I took a really long, hard look in the mirror, and I was like, who is this person? Yeah. I'm not a very good mom at the moment. I'm not a very good caretaker at the moment. And I don't even know myself. Like, something needs to fucking change, and it needs to change fast, because I don't like any version of this. Like, I've always prided myself on being a really, really good mom. And I was still taking care of my kids, don't get me wrong, but they deserve the best side of me, and that's not what they were getting. So I went on a journey to find myself. I started skydiving. I lost 80 pounds.
That's awesome.
Not only like was my mental health lacking, my physical health was lacking, because again, everything was about Ava for so long. I gained like 50 pounds during her entire journey, which is not her fault, and it'll never be her fault.
It's not your fault either.
It was just a timing thing, right?
It's not your fault either.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, now we as a family have decided to not let cancer define our life.
Yeah.
We are not victims of cancer. Yes, cancer affects our life and it affects our decisions that we may make, but it's not number one anymore. I am a firm believer of quality over life versus quantity. And I was living that in terms of choosing Ava's like treatment and what we would and would not do, but I wasn't living that day to day. I was staying home because we were scared of her getting COVID, or we were staying home because these activities made her too fatigued and I didn't want her to feel down about it. But in reality, like, the more we push her, the more stamina she builds, and then the quicker she can get back to these activities that she was no longer able to do at one point. So that's how we live our life now. Cancer is still there in the back burner, but it's not living in the room with us. It's outside of the backyard.
Absolutely. Learning to live again.
Yes.
And I mean, yes, like you said, she may have cancer, but that does not define how you go about your daily activities. You're going to live the life that you want to live instead of locking yourselves up.
Yep.
And just hoping, oh, something's going to happen today. Like Dan always said, you know, like when things were going well, he always expected the worst to come around that. You can't live your life that way.
Exactly.
And so tell us a little bit more about the skydiving.
Skydiving has completely changed my entire existence. So I first went skydiving a couple months after I turned 18. I went to Duluth, Minnesota. My dad went with me. I was like, hey, Dad, this is something I want to do. Will you do it with me? And he's like, I won't jump out of the plane, but I'll drive you there.
Smart man.
Yeah. To this day, he still is a little terrified of my adventures. So after that jump, I knew it was something I wanted to do. I wanted to get licensed, but I was in college and it's fucking expensive. Yeah. I couldn't afford that. Are you kidding me? So it wasn't until 2017, right when I was getting ready to go to Ireland, I went again, just a tandem again, because my friend wanted to go and she's like, hey, I want to skydive and I kind of want to jump in Ireland, but I don't want that to be my first time. I want to know what it's like before then so I can really experience it there. And I was like, you know what, that's a great idea. I'll go with you. So I went in West Fargo, but again, I was still broke. I was a single mom, 2 little kids. So I just did tandem. I didn't do the student yet. But then when I turned 30, my husband, he bought me the first jump course. He's like, you're going to go skydiving by yourself. And he also bought himself the first jump course, which shocked the hell out of me because he said he would never do it. Life had different plans for him. So we weren't able to go this season that he bought it. It was, my birthday's in August. Between Ava's travels, because we were going to Tennessee every 2 weeks. So between her travels and her hospital stays at home, like we just were never able to do that first jump. And then that December is when his accident happened. So he wasn't able to go, but I started about a year later. So he passed in December, that next August. So at first I boycotted it. I was like, I'm not going to do that. He bought it for me and he's not here. So why would I do that? Again, that whole self-pity thing that I was
normal.
on. Yes.
Pretty normal.
But then I turned 31 and I was like, well, no, what the hell? He bought that for me because he wanted me to do it. So why am I sitting here ignoring it and refusing to do it? Mm-hmm. So I did it. And it was amazing. It took me about 5 weeks to get my license, which is 25 jumps. I never intended to go that quickly, but I just fell in love right away. And then I joined the board. So we're a nonprofit. Skydive Fargo's a club, just a club-based nonprofit. And I am an accountant. So when I saw their financial situation, the lack thereof knowledge, I was like, please let me help you.
Can I just jump for free from
That's
now
what my
on?
wife did with me when we got married. She's like, you're a mess, dude.
Yes, that's what every woman
I'm
does with a
taking
man.
over this right now.
You know, I'm a believer, like everybody has their strengths and you should excel at your strengths. So we've got like a lawyer who is on the board and she does all the legal stuff. I do all the financial stuff. Like it's great. It works. So now I am about roughly 200 jumps in. So we're 2025. So last December of 2024. I went to Egypt. I jumped over the pyramids of Giza. It was by far probably the best thing that's ever happened in my life.
That's phenomenal.
I jumped out of a military C-130 airplane.
I love that. I love the C-130. It's my favorite one.
It's awesome.
Out of the back hatch, they lowered
out of the back hatch. They lowered it, and typically, like, you climb outside of the airplane most of the time. We jump from little Cessnas, so we're always climbing out and hanging onto the strut, doing stuff like that. You can't climb out of this thing. You just barely go, and it takes you.
Yeah.
Like, it is so fast. And then we also went out of an Mi-17 helicopter.
Oh, my.
Yes. So we did 6 jumps over there. It was breathtaking. We got some amazing pictures where the group is in a circle, and then you look down. There's a guy up here taking our video, and we're down here in a group of people, and the pyramids are in the center of us.
That's cool.
Yes, like,
My
just
luck, I'd land
amazing.
right on the point of that sucker.
Good thing you can steer with canopies.
Well,
You're in
fair.
full control of where you go.
I was just thinking about the last
You don't know
airplane
me.
ride I took.
You don't know me. There's no such thing. This thing, I would go left, it would go right. It would.
That's
I don't know
terrible.
what it is.
I cried the last time a plane had turbulence.
So I'm an Air Force guy, and I spent a lot of time in a C-130, and I've watched people jump out of them. I'm like, y'all know this thing was gonna land, right? I mean, you don't. I give you a ton of credit because I have a friend that did her first tandem jump in Detroit Lakes, and
At the Water Carnival?
yeah,
Which year?
last year.
I was there.
Were you?
Yes.
Oh my God. And she's so little, I was afraid she would go up instead of down, like the wind would take her. But wow, I was so proud of her, and she did it, and she thought it was great.
It's one of those things that even if you're deathly afraid of heights, which I am, my son climbs the gutters to clean, or climbs the ladder to clean our gutters because I am so scared. So it's one of those experiences that I think everybody should try at least one time, even if it scares the shit out of you, because getting up there, you have all of these assumptions on what it's going to be like. I thought it was going to be like the first drop of a roller coaster. Not at all. It's more of a floating versus a falling. You don't get that like stomach and throat feeling. It's very peaceful, like serenity. When you're up there, you can't think about anything else because you can't do anything else. You're just at the mercy of the sky. So it's honestly, to a lot of us in the skydiving community, it's therapy.
I can totally get that.
Make it sound so beautiful.
Yeah.
And like
it truly is. Like, it gives me goosebumps. Like, it's a lot of people in the skydiving community are drug addicts and alcoholics. And yes, you can say that like maybe they're just replacing one addiction with the next. But it's truly a way to get people to open their eyes and prove to themselves that they can do anything. They can overcome anything. Like Ava, I say that skydiving has contributed a lot to her opening up, being less afraid of things. She used to just say no to everything. And when I first started skydiving, my son immediately was like, yeah, I'm going. How many years until I turn 18? Like, I'm going. And then Ava was like, no way, never. Now when she's out there, she's like, yeah, Mom, you know what? I think I'm going to go, but I think you need to take me. I'm like, Ava, that's like in 10 years. I think I can do that. Mm-hmm. We can make that happen. And if I can't do that, her favorite person in the world is one of my best friends, Tina. She's the AFF instructor who taught me how to skydive. So I was like, if I can't take you, I know for sure Tina can take you. And she's like, yeah, that's a pretty good second.
it is known, a lot of trauma survivors are adrenaline junkies. We crave that feeling and that feeling of power over something, where we feel so powerless in other situations. We have to find something along that line to give us that back.
With skydiving, I actually because I'm so independent and I take charge in every avenue of my life, I'm a control freak, and I'm not afraid to say it. Skydiving is actually the opposite. There's not much I can control. I can control my safety. I can control my individual airspace, but I cannot control the weather. I cannot control the little things that might happen. And I can't control gravity, period. Like, nobody can. So it's truly like the opposite for me. And that's why when you're up there, it's just so freeing, because I'm not thinking about the laundry I have at home. I'm not thinking about Ava's cancer. I'm not thinking about work. Like, I'm thinking about nothing but how, like, I'm floating. Like, this, I look at the butterflies on this runner here, and like, that's how I feel when I'm in the sky. Like, you are flying. And then when you get under canopy, everything slows down. You get to open your helmet, and you're dropping at a much, much slower rate. About 28 miles an hour versus the 150 miles an hour you were just following. So it becomes even more peaceful. And then you can control where you're going. So you can do circles. If you want to go way over here, like, you can go way over there. You are in full control at that moment. Still can't control the gravity, but you can go anywhere you want. It's like a bird. It's amazing. I can't explain what it feels like to everybody, because everybody has a different perspective, right? So for me, it's lack of power. Some other people do say that it makes them feel that control if they feel that power.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's whatever you need it to be, it will be.
It's the middle. Let me explain.
Okay.
It's the middle. It's for you. It's your identity at that point. It's for you.
Yeah.
It's that little bit in that time from A to B for you.
Yep.
And you deserve it.
Yes,
and
I do.
And it's hard. Thank you for saying that, because that's courage, because it took me 21 years to figure out I can even get a Christmas gift without just acting weird about it.
Yeah.
And to be able to understand it's okay to do stuff for yourself like that, it makes you stronger for everybody else when you gently float to the earth. I probably come in a little hotter, but I'm a little bigger guy. So.
I'd be screaming. But
I'm never doing this with you, Abby.
I would do it.
I would do it too.
I would, yeah. Yeah.
I think you should.
I would get in
And you
trouble.
should definitely tell me when you're going to do it, because I will be out there. And my significant other, Jake, will do your video. Like, he's the video guy. So we
he's the videographer. So
You're going to hit the beep button so many times on that video.
Oh my.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah,
You know what?
the
That's all for
F-bombs will be
personal
going constantly. I am one of those, like, you can't tell me no people. Like,
Yeah, you're not going to do it, Abby. You would never do it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, now she's going to do it. See, I'm a helper.
So when people bring these things to me, I have a horrible habit of, like, saying, okay, well, I'm going to do that. Someone had brought up to me, oh, you should do a triathlon. I'm like, I don't do those things. Like, I don't know how, like, to even start. And then I did one, and now I'm, like, training for an Ironman. So, like, I don't do anything small. Yeah. So if I'm going to do it.
Yeah, look at our front yard.
Although
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah. Like Halloween. I mean, like, I like Halloween. So, of course, my entire house, like, looks like it threw up Halloween. You know, like, that's just my life. But it's something I've always thought about. I wanted to do it when I was a lot younger. I mean, now that I'm older, like, I have a problem getting on my roof and, like, and I live in, you know, a not very tall house. I mean, it's not very, you know,
It's
big
a
and
ranch style.
Rambler. That's the word I was searching for. Rambler. And so I don't like getting on the roof, but I have a feeling like you had said, the way that you described it, that you're floating, and that it's very peaceful and serene. Probably not the person tandeming with me the first time they will be laughing, and I will be probably screaming.
They probably will be laughing.
And I will be telling them that I hate them, and that this is like,
You
they
need
won't
some
hear you.
Xanax and handcuffs. And maybe some pepper spray.
For the very first time, like, it is definitely terrifying. Okay, let me explain my very first jump to you.
Okay.
Not my first tandem, my first student jump. It's a Category A AFF jump, which means accelerated free fall. You go up with 2 instructors, one on each side of you, and they hang on to the entire time. So you're actually not solo until you deploy your canopy, and then you're going down by yourself.
Wait, I have one question.
Yes.
How in the hell does that make you feel more secure? That someone is like falling at the same rate that you are, holding on to like the side of your coat?
Well, I mean, you have a jumpsuit on that's got like a full gripper that are meant to be like hung on to. However, they're very trained. In order to be an AFF instructor, you have to have a C license with 600 plus jumps. So like, they're very experienced. These people actually have thousands of jumps.
Okay.
So you just, it's a trust the process kind of thing.
Trust the
Trust the process.
Control freak.
I know. So I go up in the plane, and you have to climb out onto the step, and then the saying is, prop, down, go. So I look at the prop of the airplane, it's spinning, blasting you with air, and I'm supposed to look at the instructor. I do the whole prop thing. I look at this instructor, and then I look at this one, and I just shake my head no. As I'm standing outside the airplane, I can't get back in the plane. I have to go at some point, right? But I'm looking at her, and I'm like, nope, I can't do it. She can't hear me. It's so loud, but she can like see my lips. And I was like, I stood there for probably 2 minutes until she looks at me, she looks down, and we're getting too far away from the airport. If I don't let go, we're not going to land at the airport. And that scared me even more. So I'm like, whoop, let go.
And she's off.
And she's off. And it was terrifying. It's called door fright. When that door opens and it gets incredibly loud, you're like, oh shit, this is real. I wasn't afraid of the heights. At that point, like, your brain cannot comprehend how tall, like how high you are, and the fear of heights has gone out the window. It is everything else.
Like getting caught in the propeller?
Well,
like, that's what I would think.
The propeller is bringing the plane this way, and you're going to be going that way.
So again,
yeah, but I've seen too many movies.
Why do you have to look at the propeller? Is that you check the prop?
It's just a body positioning thing.
Oh, gotcha.
So that means that I'm like facing forward.
Okay.
And my chest is up, and I'm presented like strong chest, not like hunched over, because you need to get in a good arch position to be a successful like jump and to be stable.
See, I've heard this before, and I've never understood that. So thank you for explaining that, because I was like, prop was one of the things. It's like, yep, sir.
It seems strange until somebody explains it to you. Yeah. So then I go up on my second jump, and it was no big deal. I just let go. I just did it. Didn't hesitate. Because like that first jump just proves to you that, damn, this was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Did you ever compare that first jump with life in general?
At the time, no. Now, absolutely.
There you go.
Yep. And that's why I say that everybody should skydive at least one time, because you might not see it that week, you might not see it that year, but there will come a time that you're going to think about it. You're going to find yourself in an incredibly tough situation, and you're going to think back to other hard times, right? And just looking for that motivation to get through it. And you're going to remember you did that. That is something that goes against every human instinct. That fight or flight is a very real thing.
You got that
very
right.
real.
You got that right.
So it will be impactful later on in life.
That's so awesome. I hope everybody heard that, because I don't know if I would have believed you said, yep, I thought about it right away. It's like, that would take me months to process. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know what? I did this, and now I can do this because I did this.
Yep.
And there's a lot of similarities to a lot of the things that we do in life, and sometimes the shitty hand life deals you, well, you still play the cards.
Absolutely.
You don't know what the next card's coming, so you might be all right.
Yeah, that takes a lot of courage. I mean, I'm scared right now thinking that I would like even say I would commit to doing this.
I am sorry, Andy, Abby's husband. I'm sorry. I can't really tell you anything else, Andy.
Great. She's got another hobby. This is fun.
It's
love
always the
that guy.
expensive hobbies too.
I love that guy, man.
Yeah,
He's like one of my besties, you know.
He's like, what are we doing this month?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm going to be a professional rodeo clown. And it's like, and she'd do it.
I would too.
But she follows through. Here's the thing with Abby. She may come up with some weird shit, but she follows through with every single one of them, and she never quits.
I love that.
Yeah, isn't it
I
great?
absolutely love that.
I mean, it's entertainment for me, but then it's also inspiration for me a little bit. It's like, well, maybe I should push it just a little bit. I just won't send you anytime I sing because you're like, yeah, that's not good, Dan.
I didn't say
Yeah, I know
that.
you did.
Gosh, you say maybe I'll be horrible.
You said something about opening up my throat. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't know what that means. I'm not comfortable with that at all.
Well, read it how you take it. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll take it. I'll just hide behind my bass guitar.
So, Ashley, your story is by far one of the most incredible stories I think that we've ever heard. I mean,
Not only the story, but what you've done with it. You know, you can, like, I talk about getting dealt a hand. You could have just sat there with it. That's not what you did. For some reason, somehow, and what really stuck with me, because I had the moment in front of the mirror too. That was one of the hardest conversations I've ever had in my life. And that was a huge turning point. And I didn't even recognize that person. I said, dude, you're screwed up. I'm sorry. Said sorry back. I think that's the right thing. But you're doing great things with it. And that initially is like the hardest thing. That's why I think I just have this vision of you standing on that skiff ready to jump.
Yep.
And it's like, I did it. I did it. I did it. And now there's no stopping you.
and you never said, like, I know you think in your head that you had failed for those 6 months or whatever. You were grieving, you were processing, you were not failing as a
You're
parent.
learning.
Yeah.
And I hope you remove that from your vocabulary because you never failed as a parent. You never, in your head, you thought, oh, I can be a better parent. You were being the parent that you needed to be at the time that you needed to be it. And it got you to where you are right now. Because sometimes I think we have emotions and we just have to do the things that are presented to us in front of us right now to get to the next moment. And I couldn't even imagine with all of the things that you were dealt, how hard it was just to get to that next moment, where a minute, in the course of hours of a surgery of your daughter, being under that, what it must have felt like. But your story of courage and what you have done with it, your positivity, and just how you can model for other people out there that nothing is too hard. You can do amazing things when you're faced with possibly the shittiest scenario anybody could possibly be given, and how you utilize that to make your whole world better. I mean, look at your daughter, right?
Yep.
Off the chemo. What an awesome way to end this. I think
Yes.
Oh, it's just the beginning.
it is. And I know you're afraid, and I know there's so many other things that your story continues, but to end that on a positive note today, I think everyone out there should be cheering for you. And I know that I'm cheering for you. And
Hell yeah, I'm cheering for you, girl.
we are all cheering for
Not
you.
jumping out of the airplane, but I'll cheer you on. I'll beat you at the ground. I mean, I'm good.
So I always ask this last crazy question. So to everyone that is out there, if you could give them one piece of advice, what would you tell them?
Concentrate on being just 1% better every day.
Easily stated and harder to do than it is, but it is 1% better every day. You don't have to change the world in one
Yep.
day.
You can't change the world in one day.
Absolutely. Well, Ashley, thank you for being here with us and telling us your amazing story. And we hope to launch this very soon. And
Yeah, thanks for making me tear up a little bit there, girl. But you know what? It's joy. Honestly, I don't say this very often to people outside my family, but I am so inspired and incredibly proud of you.
Thank you.
Because it can go the other way real quick, and you've made a conscious decision. I am And I know Abby is too. We're just incredibly proud of you and so honored that you were here with us today to share this. I'm going to have a better week. I am.
And so if people wanted to take up skydiving, just to end this, where should they go check that out?
Skydivefargo.com. We are out in the West Fargo airport.
Okay. We will post the link on our Facebook after the podcast once we launch it. And we hope you guys check it out.
Thank you, Ashley Erdmann.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Kiss My Chaos podcast. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we speak with some of the most intriguing people about their journey from trauma to triumph. If you find yourself in mental crisis, please seek professional medical help immediately.